This is a podcast from the Fitzwilliam Museum, Cambridge.
I'm Charles Melville. I'm a professor of Persian History at Cambridge. I'm head of the Shan Army project, which is a research project in Cambridge, and the exhibition is called The Epic of the Persian Kings, The Art of Ferdowsi's Shahnameh, and it's opening in the Fitzwilliam Museum in Cambridge on the 11th of September 2010. The Shahnameh is a great poem. It's an epic poem. It's written 1,000 years ago in Persian couplets. And it's a record, really, of the history of Iran from the earliest days right through to the end of the Persian Empire in the 7th century. It's called the King Book. Shahnameh means Book of Kings. So it's really tracing the history of Iran through the reigns of the kings. Some of these rulers, of course, are mythical. Because so much of it is rather legendary, there are great passages of battles with dragons, battles with demons. We're in the real mythic past of the Iranian people, which of course goes back way beyond history. And this is reflected in many of the stories. So some of the early kings, for instance, their role is to tame the demons, who are thought to have been the inhabitants of the earth before humans really organised their own society. So there are battles against devils, against dragons, who of course are a symbol of evil. The king has to prove that he's fit to rule by defeating the forces of evil. The poet is Ferdowsi, Abul Qasim Ferdowsi. Ferdowsi is a nickname, really. It means someone from paradise, because actually he came from the town of Tus, which is in northeastern Iran. He was born about 940 and he died about 1020. So he had a long life, and most of it was devoted to the writing of this great poem. It was his life's work. It's around about 50,000 verses, and this is a massive work for a single author. It's longer than the Iliad and the Odyssey put together. He understood that his plan and his mission was really to record the history of ancient Iran before it got lost, because after the end of the Persian Empire, which is what he's describing, we have the Arab invasions, Iran is conquered by the Arabs, a new religion comes, Islam, all the changes in society and religion. So it's a very specific, self-conscious, deliberate act of recording and saving the stories and the legends and the myths of ancient Iran, as well as the more recent history. The Shahnameh became very, very popular. It was partly recited orally for entertainment, but because it was a book about kings, the new rulers of Iran, every new dynasty, they wanted to have their own copy. It was something to show off your own majesty if you commissioned a beautiful copy of the Shahnameh. And so there are hundreds of them that are illustrated. Many of them have found their way into British collections over the years, partly from Iran, and a lot of them via India. And the exhibition that we've put on in the Fitzwilliam is bringing together a choice of the best manuscripts and the best examples that actually exist in British collections, because it's really nice to see what's here right at our doorstep in the British Library, the British Museum, the Victoria and Albert Museum, some of the great collections. But these things aren't often on regular display, so it's a chance to bring them out and show the treasures off, all focusing on this one poem. I think this is a chance to see something that's not normally seen in England. Of course, for the Iranians, this is the great poem. It's the Shakespeare for us, and we really ought to be more familiar with how important this poem is in Persian culture. The stories, of course, are fantastic. Some of them are very exciting, very dramatic, very tragic. But the manuscripts themselves, of course, this is really the highlight of it. Seeing the care that's been lavished on producing them, I think it's really an opportunity to realise the wealth and the meticulous skills and the very different vision too, because the paintings don't look like European paintings. There's usually no perspective. Sometimes as time goes on, it becomes more and more fantastic in a way. I mean, the horses are blue or pink. It's a sort of a fantasy world, but nevertheless it's one that's full of some moral meanings as well, because it's all about ruling with justice, about loyalty, all the values that society should hold dear. And I think it's very important and also exciting to see these things actually embodied in this great poem, which had so much attention focused on it in Iran and so much care in the production of the manuscripts. The exhibition isn't travelling anywhere else, so this is the unique chance, really, to get a full view. There are over 100 items in the exhibition, 1 or 2 ceramics, that's pots with lines from the Shahnameh decorating them, 1 or 2 other things inspired by the Shahnameh, but basically they're manuscripts and manuscript painting because this is the main literary and artistic tradition that the Shahnameh falls in. So it's a fantastic opportunity to see things that are not commonly on display, and all things that are great treasures that we're very fortunate to have in Britain as an example of our own interactions with Persian culture and with Iranian people over many centuries.